The transmission arrived in the midst of an absolute silence in the depths of space. There were no precedents for a signal of this kind. Human engineers from the communication nodes had initially cataloged it as white noise, a random phenomenon that mathematics had yet to decipher. However, for those who knew how to listen, like the Ohar, the message was unmistakable, a vibrational pattern that traversed dimensions as ancient as the cosmos itself. The interdimensional channel was not only unheard of, it was deemed impossible according to the laws of physics understood by humans. The frequency, it seemed, did not use normal waves but fluctuations in the very fabric of space-time, making it impossible to trace its exact origin. But the Ohar knew that this technology was theirs. It was a message from their High Council, sent from the core of their civilization, located in a region of the universe so dense with dark matter that the ordinary laws of reality barely applied. The nexus must fall. Humans are the plague. The voice in the message was not really a voice but a resonance, something that vibrated within the thoughts of those who listened. For the Ohar, the order was clear and definitive. The annihilation of humanity was not only necessary, but inevitable. In the frozen twilight of Triton, where nitrogen winds sweep across the surface in eternal silence, the advanced fleet of the Ohar Consortium was hiding. Their ships, large biomechanical structures, appeared more like living creatures than machines. The hulls glowed with a faint organic light, and their exoskeletons gently undulated, adapting to the surrounding environment. From this position, the Ohar studied humans. For decades, they had gathered data, from entertainment transmissions to military records, dissecting every aspect of human civilization. They were fascinated and terrified by humanity's ability to evolve. "They're like a virus," declared Kothrex, the lead strategist, as a holographic projection of Earth slowly rotated in front of him, multiplying faster than they should, consuming everything in their path. They terraform worlds, destroy entire ecosystems, and worse yet, justify it with their arrogant morality. The Ohar did not hate humans out of simple resentment. Their repulsion was scientific. For them, humanity represented a cosmic anomaly, a species that had defied the natural rates of biological and technological development. In just 2 centuries, humans had transitioned from internal combustion to fusion reactors, and from orbital exploration to interstellar colonization. However, what concerned the Ohar the most was not human technological progress, but their capacity to adapt. Humans were unpredictable. Every attempt to dominate them in the past by other species had ended in failure. The Ohar knew the stories. Entire civilizations destroyed for trusting in the supposed weakness of humans. Kothrex and his team knew that a direct confrontation would be disastrous. The human fleets, although less advanced, compensated for their technological inferiority with unpredictable tactics and an inhuman ability to improvise. An open assault would be equivalent to trying to extinguish a fire by throwing oxygen at it. "The key is not to crush them, but to crumble them from within," declared Kothrex in front of the military council of the fleet. The Ohar developed a plan in 3 phases. 1. Structural sabotage. Identify and deactivate the key nodes of the Nexus, the vast quantum network that unified human colonies. Without the Nexus, the colonies would be isolated, unable to coordinate resources and strategies. 2. Psychological infiltration. Use mimickers to replace key figures in politics, science, and economics. The Ohar agents, disguised as humans, would sow discord and distrust among the human factions. 3. The final blow, once weakened. The Triton fleet would launch a surgical strike to destroy the main centers of human power. It would not be necessary to annihilate them all. It would be enough to break their capacity for resistance. "The Nexus is your backbone," said Kothrex with a hand over the projection of the solar system. "By breaking it, they will fall like leaves into the void." Despite their strategic precision, the Ohar made a fatal mistake. They underestimated the very essence of humanity. In their calculations, they could not measure the impact of instinct, creativity, and human ferocity when pushed to the brink. For the Ohar, emotions were a biological flaw, a weakness. For humans, they were their greatest strength. From their hiding place behind Triton, the alien fleet was preparing to launch their plan. What they did not know was that the echo of their transmission, that interdimensional signal they believed undetectable, had left a small trace in space, a trace that some human scientists were already beginning to notice. As the Ohar sharpened their claws, humans, still unaware of the threat, began to look towards the stars. And among them were those who suspected they were not alone. Year 2147, humanity had reached the stars, establishing colonies on Mars, Titan, and beyond. However, Earth remained the nerve center of civilization, the place where the most important decisions were made, and where most of the population lived. What nobody knew was that, for nearly 2 decades, the Ohar had been infiltrating among humans. Thanks to their advanced biotechnology, they could create almost perfect biological replicas of human bodies. They were not clones, but mimics. Alien organisms capable of taking on the form, voice, and even the basic memories of their victim. The operation began with the disappearance of key figures: scientists, politicians, space engineers. One by one, they were replaced by Ohar agents who assumed their identities. Slowly, they began to sabotage from within, an accidental failure at a fusion power plant here, a political decision that destabilized a region there. But their true objective was clear: to destroy the Nexus, the quantum network that connected all human systems. Without the Nexus, the colonies would be isolated, resources would stop flowing, and humanity would plunge into chaos. Captain Ro Ortega was not an easy man to deceive. A veteran of the terraforming wars, he had seen it all, from the madness of exoplanets to the horrors of combat in zero gravity. Now, in charge of the Aegis orbital station, the main point of terrestrial defense, Ro began to notice a pattern in the incidents. Another failure at a Nexus node, he grunted as he reviewed the reports. Chief Engineer Kira Matsuda nodded, her face tense. "Yes, but this is different. It's not a technical failure, Captain. It's sabotage." Kira showed him a detailed graph. The failures followed a specific pattern, affecting only the most critical nodes. Someone was destroying the infrastructure from within. Terrorists? Ortega asked. Maybe, but Kira hesitated before continuing. "We found something strange. Fragments of biological material on the damaged servers. They are not human." Ortega felt a shiver run down his spine. If they weren't human, what the hell were they facing? As Ortega and his team investigated, the agent Ohar known as Kothrex was in a secret meeting with other infiltrators. His mission was progressing as planned, but there was a problem. Some humans were starting to suspect. In particular, that Ortega guy. "Should we eliminate the threat?" suggested one of the mimickers. Kothrex shook his head. "Not yet. If they disappear now, it will be too obvious. We need something more sophisticated." The Ohar began to orchestrate a plan to discredit Ortega and his team, making them appear as traitors in the eyes of their superiors. Ortega, Kira, and a small group of loyalists discovered the truth. The Ohar were behind it all, but facing them was nearly impossible. They didn't know how many infiltrators there were or who they could trust. They decided to counterattack with the only weapon they had: human unpredictability. Using a communication network outside the nexus, they organized independent cells in the colonies. Humans, known for adapting and resisting, began launching surprise attacks against nodes controlled by the Ohar, using analog technology that the aliens could not track or manipulate. The confrontation culminated in a massive battle in space near Earth. While the Ohar tried to permanently deactivate the Nexus, Ortega led a desperate assault to stop them. "It's not just our survival," Ortega shouted through the open channel as the human ships faced the alien fleet. "It's our right to exist. Humans, let's show them why we never give up." The battle was brutal, but thanks to a suicidal maneuver led by Kira, they managed to destroy the Ohar mothership and reveal the location of the remaining infiltrators. Humanity survived, but at a high cost. The infiltrators had wreaked havoc, and the trust between the colonies and Earth was broken. However, one thing became clear. Humans were not only difficult to destroy, but they also learned quickly. And for the Ohar, the lesson was simple. They underestimated their prey.